The earth is our mother. She gives us everything we need. Land to live on, water to drink, and air to breathe. But a darkness came over Shady. They dumped toxins on the ground. Hundreds of truckloads, thousands of truckloads, millions of pounds.
Hey, McKenna, where are you going?
You should be ashamed of yourself.
You're true.
In preparing this, I could have read from studies listing a bunch of toxic chemicals that are troubling to pronounce, but more troubling to drink.
Speak up.
Or I could have read another poetic warning from the Lorax. Instead, I decided to ask a simple question. Where is the leadership and concern? I watched the panel discussion. I heard the fear being expressed by your constituents. I heard the supervisor admit to the possibility, the word he was most comfortable using, that our town's water is in fact in danger. I heard him say that it's possible that we were screwed by the DEC. I heard a hydrogeologist say that she was going to bang on doors at the DEC for us. I heard references to the Amy's not only not being helped by the town, but having to fight the town in court and having their GoFundMe called a scam. The supervisor said that the water should be tested. Should seems to be the operative word. Questioners asking for solutions were told what they should do. So again, the question, where is the leadership and concern? Why did it take so long to even get this on the agenda? Why were people told not to talk about this? Why aren't our town leaders the ones banging on doors at the DEC? Or better, going over the heads of the DEC to the governor? If there's even a possibility that our health and safety are in peril, isn't it the most basic responsibility of our town leaders, elected and unelected, to be proactively leading the fight in defense of their constituents, rather than settling for compromised non-solutions and justifying inactions based on a fig leaf, a superficial and suspect two-page report that essentially says, nothing to see here. We know that what was dumped in our town was both illegal and toxic. We know that the particulates that were not cleaned up by Plan E are still there with the potential to leach into the groundwater. We know that people, your neighbors, have already been advised to not drink their water. So, where is the leadership and concern?
My name is James Manuel. I've lived on Reynolds Lane, was raised there. And on that property, directly affected by the dumping of construction and demolition waste and unknown other waste on Church Road, illegally permitted by our town officials. What could one possibly say in 2 minutes to the stewards of the town to bring perspective or awareness that the massive pile of materials laced with chemical pollutants in Shady has to be completely removed? What do we have to say? We on Reynolds Lane are all buying water for home use now for fear of consuming deleterious chemicals from our well water. As long as the pollutants remain atop our properties, that threat remains. And we cannot consume our water, especially out of fear for our children or anyone visiting our homes. Property value. To visitors to our homes, real estate agents and town agents, we are compelled to warn you. Do not drink or use our water from the tap. It might be contaminated with chemicals. Even if we tested yesterday for chemical X in our water, today it might be over the federal limit. We are forced to support lawsuits like the Amy's, who begged for remediation. We don't want our property taxes used against the Amy's. When they have taken up the promise to protect our water, if the materials are not removed there will be many lawsuits, and your legacy, McKenna, will be the one who favored, permitted, and allowed chemical pollution to remain to threaten the waters of Woodstock.
Hi, my name is Carrie Letterman. I'm not a good public speaker, sorry. As the newest resident on Reynolds Lane, having moved in July 2022, I find myself grappling with a situation that has turned my dream of homeownership into a daily battle against uncertainty. The water that flows through my faucets, the very source of life, is now a source of concern, casting a shadow over my daily routines. Instead of enjoying the simple pleasure of a hot shower or a clean meal, I am haunted by the nagging question, is this water harming me? Despite my short time here, I've delved into the history of this issue, piecing together the chain of events that led to the current predicament. Yet the enormity of the situation still defies comprehension. How is this allowed to happen? Why 4 years after the problem surfaced, it remains unresolved? And most disheartening of all, why does the town board seem indifferent to the plight of its residents? The ongoing water contamination crisis is a stain in our community, a stark reminder of the fragility of our well-being and the responsibility we bear towards one another. It is a story of neglect, of inaction, and of a community's right to clean, safe water being repeatedly trampled upon. As a newcomer, I am dismayed by the town board's apparent apathy towards this critical issue. Their inaction is a betrayal of public trust, a failure to uphold their duty to protect the health and safety of their constituents. The residents of Woodstock deserve better. We must demand accountability, transparency, and a swift resolution to this crisis. We must hold those responsible to task and ensure that our voices are heard. The health of our community and the very foundation of our lives hangs in the balance.
Thank you, John Ludwig. Bill, I know you said you're doing everything you can. At least I think you've said that. I think I've heard you say that. And I'd like to ask if you would share with us, what did Michelle Hinchy have to say when you spoke to her?
Better to ask Michelle Hinchy. I don't want to speak for her.
Don't speak for her.
I'm not going to speak. This was ages ago.
Did you speak with Michelle Hinchy about the Shady situation?
Ages ago.
Okay. Would you share with us something about your discussion with Kathy Hochul?
No, I didn't have a conversation.
You didn't speak with...
No.
Okay, Bill, then I think you're not doing everything you can, and I urge you to speak to Michelle Hinchy and speak to Kathy Hochul and ask for their help to solve this situation.
The DEC Region 3 Director Kelly R. Torturo letter to the supervisor and town board dated June 23rd, 2023 is a fail. It fails to mention that the testing done of the pulverized material at 10 Church Road found elevated levels of acesulfame, benzoatrazine, benzopyrene, benzofluoranthene, benzophenylene, chrysene, dibenzoanthrosine, fluoranthene, fluorine, endenpyrene, phenanthyrene, pyrene, perfluorobutanic acid, 4,4-DDT, arsenic, barium, chromium, lead, and 85.5% solids. It fails to mention that Carolus testified in Shandaken Court that the material he illegally dumped at Church Road was from his Route 212 Saugerty site that the DEC had shut down. Material tested there matched the analysis done at 10 Church Road. The DEC had mandated that for that material to go to a registered facility designated to handle leachate. That is where the material needs to go now. It fails to mention that the clean fill that New York State allows is not what was dumped and buried at 10 Church Road. That was contaminated C&D material, pulverized and in chunks, and not clean fill. It fails to mention that when the DEC first looked at the illegal dumping on 10 Church Road, they visually noted the presence of C&D material with coal, ash, and slag. So what miraculously happened for Kelly Turturro to send off this get-out-of-jail-free letter to the town supervisor and the board? That letter is a fail, and the town attempts to use it as the cornerstone of their argument that nothing needs further to be done is a big fail. Failing to protect Woodstock's aquifer and the Sawkill and all who need uncontaminated drinking water. It's time to stop with the fails and get all of that contaminated material hauled to a registered facility as the DEC had originally ordered Carolus to do. Carolus is in jail for allegedly beating a man to death. His compliance with the DEC track record is a fail. See Goat Hill Road, Felquy Road, and Church Road fails. A reputable hauling company needs to get it done.
Okay, sorry my introduction was yelling initially, but my name is Jordan Castile. Where are we meant to feel safe if not at home? By definition, safe means protected from and not exposed to danger or risk. This past week, we hosted family and friends at our home for the holidays where we fielded questions we did not have answers to. Is it okay to wash the lettuce in your sink? I forgot to use the bottled water this morning to make my coffee. Is that okay? Is it okay for me to have a shower? It was a horrible feeling to not say with confidence to our loved ones, it is okay. This is a safe place for you to be. It wasn't until after we purchased our home on Reynolds Lane in the summer of 2020 that we became aware we shared a property line with the dump site at 10 Church Road. Although we were concerned, as newcomers unaware of local politics, we naively trusted you, our town officials, who said complete removal was the solution being pursued. At some point, things changed, and the assurances we'd been given never came to fruition. No one came back to our home to tell us the plans had changed, or asked our opinion, or to see if we felt safe. We are extremely reasonable people. We came into this conversation looking for data and facts, and slowly it became increasingly clear that literally all of the safeguards failed. In addition to that, instead of acknowledging that failure, we've been met with town leadership that feels more complacent than action-oriented. To rub salt into an already raw wound, the town is using our tax dollars to fight the Amy's in court. And that's only one lawsuit that has the strong potential to turn into many more. The debris is still there, and so are we. We are faced with the dump every day, contending with our desire to have a family and a constant gnawing feeling that our future health and investment is doomed. We moved here to find safety and quiet. Instead, we have found fear and a battle for clean drinking water that none of us should have to fight, especially not when the town has laws that it could use to protect us. We will continue to organize, speak, and fight on behalf of the Amy's, our downgradient neighbors, and all fellow Woodstock residents, all of you in here. We will fight for you, just so I can feel safe at home. Clean water is a human right and not up for discussion. That is all. Is also 317 petition signatures of people who are also asking for the removal of all of the contaminants, debris on the Church Road. They're demanding.
Hello, my name is David Schultz. I also live at 49 Reynolds Lane. It's hard to follow that. I'm reading a statement from Lawrence Edelman, who's the homeowner at 29 Reynolds Lane. We're happy to call Woodstock our second home. and happy to be a part of the special community here. However, had we known that our groundwater was potentially infected with harmful material, we would not have purchased in Shady. Pertinent information was kept from us in 2021. We've heard nothing from our elected officials in the way of a solution or even an excuse as to why the laws against the dumping contaminated material aren't being exercised. Shady needs clean water, and its residents ask for better communication and cooperation from town leadership. Both long-time residents and people sitting here now are exposed to the same health risks and financial burden. The future of Shady depends on action now. The community won't be a special one if word gets out that the town permits illegal dumping and you can't drink the water. Thank you.
Joe Zynecki, 33 Reynolds Lane. First time we've had this conversation. I am a little concerned about why we're still here 4 days later. The first meeting, I've been involved in this right from the beginning, and you, Bill, and you, Laura, said, this has got to go away. It's got to go away. We've got to get rid of this, and it can't take over a year. Here we are 4 years later, and we're still fighting the same thing, and you seem to be supporting the persons who don't more than you're supporting us. Wrong. A DEC letter. Well, the DEC knows that the stuff that was dumped is contaminated. It was stated in the court. So, I mean, are they trying to cover themselves? Because they should have taken care of all that material before it arrived at Shady. That was their job. They were supposed to oversee getting rid of it. So, I don't understand it. I just don't understand. Why are you guys not supporting us? Why aren't you fighting for us? You know, we're in your neighborhood. We can't drink our water. I'm buying bottles of water every couple of days. This is absurd. This is absurd. You've got to do something about this.
Who's next? Any more speakers? Yes. Oh.
Hi. My piece is 3 minutes, a little over 3, and I'm going to insist on finishing as we have been waiting 6 months. We have been waiting 6 months, and my piece is 3 minutes, and I will
talk fast.
Yeah, so I will talk fast. I'm Julie Zalba, artist, and I live at 81 Reynolds Lane, and I'm here to speak about the Shady dump. Yeah, Julie! In 2020, at the height of the pandemic lockdown, we heard dump trucks and excavators arriving at 10 Church Road with truckload after truckload of contaminated fill. Fearful, we called the police, we called the DEC, we called the town supervisor, we even climbed up to the ridge to argue with the property owner and Caroli's the contractor. To no avail. The trucks kept coming and the fill stayed there. Later that fall, after initial hydrological consultations, we were reassured by an emergency town board meeting in which a resolution had passed that were promised the enforcement of the town law, the complete removal of the fill, as well as intermittent testing of the neighboring wells. And then we waited. We waited for the town to take the offending parties to court. We waited for the $1,500 to be fined per truckload to finance the cleanup. That never happened. We waited for the town to test our wells. We waited for the town to carry out its promise to remove the fill and clean up the site. Instead, 3 years later, in the spring of 2023, we were woken up once again to the sound of excavators that no one had forewarned us about. We watched and we waited as Plan E removed a few bigger pieces of debris and removed the remaining contaminated fill to a berm on the other side of the property, expanding the number of downgrading homes that are at risk for contamination. 6 months ago, I asked the town board, I went to the town board meeting to ask for a public discussion of this issue. 2 minutes is not a public discussion. I'm tired. I'm tired of waiting. I'm tired of hearing knowledgeable professional hydrologists insist that a complete removal of the fill is necessary while the town supervisor insists that the cleanup is complete. I'm tired of being afraid to drink our water and of the potential contamination of the Woodstock aquifer. I am tired of the countless number of hours of personal time working to ensure that this cleanup will happen as it should. I'm tired, after receiving Paul Rubin's letter, of needing for me to take on the responsibility of warning downgraded neighbors that their water may not be safe for them to drink. This is the town's job. I'm not finished. I'm sick and tired of the supervisor's false statement that a cleanup cannot be accomplished without additional court order when the judgment against the guilty parties already exists, and he can do so. I'm exhausted by the fact that many people in this town choose not to believe the documented facts highlighted by 3 different hydrogeologists with over 100 years of experience between them. I'm sick and tired that the supervisor has chosen to collaborate with the polluter and spend town money on opposing the justifiable Amy lawsuit.
Okay.
And I'm tired, I'm almost finished, and sick with exhaustion about an endless chain of bad decisions that led us to this point.
Thank you.
But most importantly, and this is the last thing, I'm tired and deeply saddened that Shady, this beautiful, serene, healing place that I've had the privilege to call home for the past 20 years, has been violated and desecrated in this manner. Remove the fill!
Yes!
I'm here, as most people know from all that shouting, and I'm a public sculptor. I've lived here for 25 years. I have 4 grandchildren here, and my son Jordan lives here. It is just appalling that this is the second of 2 big toxic situations to happen. I'm appalled that the library is completely toxic at 10 Church Road, and it should be just completely dug up. All that soil needs to be remediated. People may not know that. We don't have a newspaper that's telling us that, but there's a toxic level of lead and arsenic in the soil of 10 Dixon. These things that Julie tried to list, I mean, it was tongue-tying. How many chemicals are in this dump that is not being cleaned up? Any one of you is not doing that. And maybe one of these days we can get something that's like a majority of people that are honest. You're not, and you're not. And I'm really upset about
it. My name is Jessie. I live at 73 Reynolds Lane with my 8-year-old daughter. We live just down the hill from 10 Church. I want you to look at me. I am the person you threatened to call the police on at a town meeting last spring. I'm in the group who on Kingston Radio, you compared to the January 6th rioters. I stand here today to share how I've been impacted by Plan E. Even though you, Bill, continue to say that the fill has been removed, the hydrologists have explained in detail over and over again how the pulverized, contaminated construction debris is actually still sitting up on 10 Church, and how Plan E moved the C and D around the site, and that it now covers an area equal to 5 Olympic-sized swimming pools. When the contaminated construction debris was initially dumped in 2020, my house was not classified as down gradient. Now, since the debris is spread out, my house is down gradient. What this means is that my water was safe from the risk of contamination before Plan E was implemented, but now my water is at risk. I have so many questions. Why were we not considered when you created this Plan E? Who does Plan E serve? Why did you as a town approve a plan that has actually made matters worse for me and others? Why did you not hire experts that know about the issue and its effects, who understand how groundwater moves? I stand here to tell you that I don't see a future for myself here anymore. I live on your street. You drive by me every day. I have no future without water, without safe soil. I am drinking water from Arkansas. I am afraid to take a bath. I am afraid that these contaminants will be absorbed through my skin and through the delicate skin of my 8-year-old child who has to sit here tonight, who has spent half her life has been us fighting for our water. I am scared, I am angry, and I am tired.
Thank you.
My name is Luke Hunsberger. I live at 81 Reynolds Lane. This is Paul Rubin's 20-page analysis of the situation. I'd like to enter it into your record. I know you already have a copy.
Yes.
I want to say one sentence before I play this short song, and that is that the other day it rained, and I normally think of rain as sort of a gift, you know, but then it occurred to me that the rainwater doesn't just sit there. It actually flows through the ground, picking up these toxins and threatens the water. So now the rain is not something nice, it's a threat. Anyway, the earth is our mother. She gives us everything we need. Land to live on, water to drink, and air to breathe. But a darkness came over Shady. They dumped toxins on the ground. Hundreds of truckloads, thousands of truckloads, millions of pounds. Take it away, take it all away, remove it from the land. How could you let this toxic dump get so far out of hand? Take it away, take it all away, remove it from the land. How could you let this toxic dump get so far out of hand? Restore it to the way it was before. I don't want to hear excuses anymore. Danger is knocking on a door. We've got to protect our water. On that we must agree. It's long past time to remove this toxic debris. Take it away, take it all away, remove it from the land. How could you let this toxic dump get so far out of hand? Take it away, take it all away, remove it from the land. How could you let this toxic dump get so far out of hand? Restore it to the way it was before. Don't want to hear excuses anymore. Danger is knocking on a door.
Everything you've heard from all the people here, it's true.
What's your name?
Marcel Nagel. Okay. You've had more reports than you can shake a stick at. I don't know how you deny it. And now today, the man who's been saying, I can't spend money on private property, I find out the town paid for $6,000 worth of engineering on private property.
Wow.
I got the copies of the checks, Bill. I'm waiting for the FOIL request to be answered with the proof of repayment and the invoices that have been sent. I've been fighting you with lack of enforcement since the Selena Hotel debacle. An associate and I spent $27,000.
You know, you're being a little rude. You don't need to point those.
I know.
Rude! They can't drink their water!
Rude is what has happened to Shady.
Let's hear it.
But I've had enough of you,
Okay.
and you should resign.
Okay. Thank you.
My name is Dee Dee Howard, and I've lived here my life. And I don't know how many of you were here, but I was in this room. It wasn't so fancy, but it was when Vince ran the meat market, and his son runs the hardware store now. Their family was having to drink polluted water from Rotron, Amatec, and it was exactly the same discussion. Other people who live over there by Rotron, their water is polluted, and I don't know, has anybody checked on that now? That for years they were drinking bottled water. They had to buy, and I think the town actually bought water from them. There was a big truck eventually that came and gave them water, and it was supposed, Rotron was supposed to dig it up. That the kind of toxic that they had there, I don't even think you can dig up. It was from these machine parts that when they wash and this toxic stuff, and it was getting into all the entire water base that they have there. Was anybody else here in the meeting that was here? There's somebody there. Yeah. So this is not a new problem. This is something we all need to take care of.
Thank you.
Don't you want any comments from town board members?
Yes.
You don't?
Yes.
You don't want comments from town board members?
Why does the permit say the town board voted for it? We never voted for
I'm going to
planning.
call for adjournment. All in favor?
No.
All in favor?
No, there are two votes no, we are not adjourned.
You only need 2 votes to adjourn.
No, you don't.
So thank you, Laura.
Right now, today. This is a letter from Kelly Turturro. It is dated today, November 28th.
Read it.
This letter says, municipalities may have local laws regarding solid waste that are more stringent than state law. That is what Woodstock has. Woodstock must enforce its own law.
Don't run away. Well, we voted for a dictatorship.
Kelly Turturro says
Run away, McKenna.
Does not have regulatory authority to require any remedial action at this site. Municipalities may have local laws that are stronger. This is the way to clean up the shady dump.
Yes!
Right here in the code is the local law, 192.4. No material of any nature which is considered or could be hazardous, infectious, toxic, radioactive, harmful.
Hey, McKenna, where you going? Gives us everything we need. Land to live on, water to drink, and air to breathe. Though the darkness came over shady, say them toxins on the ground. Hundreds of truckloads, thousands of truckloads, millions of pounds. Take it away, take it all away, remove it from the land. How could you let this toxic dump get so far out of hand? Take it away, take it all away, remove it from the land. How could you let this toxic dump get so far out of hand? Restore it to the way it was before. I don't want to hear excuses anymore.